stopped physically. DHS says one of them, or both of them, I should say, are Venezuelan and in the U.S. illegally. One of them had an order for removal from 2024. A crowd formed up, and Chicago police say they started throwing rocks. So tear gas and other crowd control weaponry was used to disperse the people. Meantime, the fence surrounding the ICE facility here in Broadview, Illinois, is down. It came down with an hour to go before the court-ordered midnight deadline. The mayor of Broadview acknowledged that the protests here get out of control, so the area on the southwest side of the ICE facility has been declared a no-protest zone, primarily to keep people from walking into traffic. The demonstrators are now restricted to a small zone here on the northeast side, and the protesters don't like it.
It seems like they're trying to push us out or trying to make it so the protest is less effective. I'm not the only one that feels this is unconstitutional. People are going to get more angry and they're going to come out.
Chicago Democrat leadership has officially become a threat to public safety after a judge in Chicago ordered ICE to remove the fence around the Broadview facility in Illinois, even as cartel leaders make it known that they're placing bounties on federal law enforcement. Meanwhile, Governor J.B. Pritzker is now threatening ICE agents, claiming that if Republicans are to lose power in 2028, the next Democrat president will prosecute them. All of this underlies the hypocrisy the Democrats claim they don't weaponize the government, yet here they are turning on the very people whose job it is to enforce the law. We're going to break it all down. The threats, the lies, the deflection, and what it all means moving forward.
Fox News alert now, federal agents under siege. Immigration and custom enforcement teams are facing a new threat dished out by the drug cartels. First, it was violent protesters rioting and attacking ICE agents on the streets. Now, Homeland Security Department has announced Mexican cartels have put out bounties on agents in Chicago. DHS says those cartels are working with gangs and extremist groups to deploy armed spotters to rooftops to track agents' movements. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. DHS also revealed a tiered bounty system that cartels are using to incentivize violence. Now, all of this according to the DHS. Here's the price cartels are putting out. $2,000 to get information on ICE agents or to dox them. $5,000 to $10,000 to kidnap or hurt the agents. Up to $50,000 to assassinate senior officials.
So while the cartel is placing bounties on the heads of federal agents, you've got Democrat leaders in Chicago, from the mayor to the governor to the judges, doing everything they can to make those agents' job even more dangerous. You have one Chicago judge ordering for the fence to come down at the Broadview facility that's meant to protect federal workers. Then you have the mayor creating these ICE-free zones. And now you have a new ruling saying that ICE agents can't even arrest illegal immigrants outside of a courthouse.
Cook County Circuit Chief Judge Timothy Evans is barring civil arrests of people when they are at county courts. Evans said in a statement, quote, "Access to justice depends on every individual's ability to appear in court without fear or obstruction. Our courthouses remain places where all people, regardless of their background or circumstance, should be able to safely and confidently participate in the judicial process."
Have you ever had a moment that changed your life? One accident, one employer who doesn't care, one hospital bill you couldn't pay. That's how quick life can change. And when it does, you realize something fast. The big companies, the insurance giants, they don't care about you. They've got teams of lawyers whose only job is to protect their bottom line. But who's protecting you? There's a reason why it feels like traffic always jams when you're running late. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, Morgan & Morgan has fought for the people, not the powerful. With 1,000 plus attorneys and more than 100 offices nationwide, they've recovered over $25 billion for more than 500,000 clients just like you. Whether you're a 41-year-old family man in Florida, struck by a driver who ran a red light, Morgan & Morgan secured a $9.3 million verdict. Or a father and Little League coach who suffered lasting injuries in a car crash, Morgan & Morgan secured a $6.1 million verdict. When you hire them, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. Starting a claim is simple. You can get started right now from your phone. No hassle. You can click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to see if you have a claim. Their fee is free unless they win. Because when life changes in an instant, you deserve a law firm that's ready to fight for you. Think about that. The very place where law and order is supposed to mean something have become off limits for federal agents. So while federal agents are out there cleaning up the streets, risking their lives, local leaders are working overtime to protect lawbreakers instead of law enforcers.
So these were apparently two illegals who took their car and they rammed into agents. Screen left is the driver, Venezuelan illegal alien, gave an order for removal. Is that August of 2024? I do believe it is. Screen right, the passenger, Venezuelan illegal alien. Tricia, what happened here?
Yeah, this incident happened yesterday in the broader Chicago area. There was a targeted stop when these individuals used their car to ram our law enforcement agents. Unfortunately, there was a growing scene where violent rioters started surrounding our law enforcement agents, and it became increasingly hostile. We're seeing more and more of this, that illegal aliens and protesters, really violent agitators, are using their vehicles as weapons. It's a growing tactic that we're seeing, and that's why we've called in the National Guard. That's why President Trump and Secretary Noem have been so strong to give our law enforcement the resources they need, especially as J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson have ordered local and state police to not answer our calls for help, not to answer calls for backup when our law enforcement is being attacked.
Both Chicago's mayor and the Illinois governor criticized the agents without mentioning the rock throwing.
Unfortunately, the abuses of ICE and of CBP continue, and we're going to do everything that we can, again, to protect our residents, but also to get the courts to step in and stop them from abusing just everyday people, that they are firing gas pellets and rubber bullets at.
So let me get this straight. J.B. Pritzker is more concerned about protecting illegals. They always say residents when they make these statements because they know they can't say citizens. While agents, American citizens, have bounties placed on their head.
Greg Bovino, Chief Patrol Agent for the El Centro sector in California. You'll hear his name quite a bit. He has a huge story to tell today. He is leading the Trump administration's Border Patrol efforts in Chicago. And earlier this month, officers arrested a member of the Latin Kings gang for putting out a bounty on Agent Bovino's life. We welcome him now in focus. Glad you are well and can tell us the story. So first of all, how did you find out, Agent Bovino, that somebody had put a hit out on you?
Well, good morning, Harris. It's good to see you again. I came into work one morning and found that there was a bounty that was put out by the Latin Kings, by that individual, and I was notified that morning, hey, there's a bounty on your head now. So it was quite interesting.
And what can you tell us about what that does to, you know, just kind of the infrastructure of agents, of weaponry to prepare for such a thing? How are things changing knowing that this type of environment exists against you?
Things have changed a lot. Since those bounties were put out, we've had to take different measures to keep our agents safe, our ICE officers safe, and our allied law enforcement agents safe as they go into the field. And something else, Harris, that we're seeing is the lethality of the assaults against officers and agents. That lethality is increasing, and I think it's because of the bounties and that crazy rhetoric by the out-of-control governor and mayor. Lethality, like just yesterday, as you know, we had two illegal aliens from Venezuela tried to run over two Border Patrol agents. They were unsuccessful, and then decided it would be a good idea to ram the Border Patrol car before engaging in that high-speed pursuit. So that, along with weapons being taken to protests, the lethality is definitely increasing, and it's because of things like bounties and the crazy things that governor says.
I want you to really think about this situation for a moment. You had two people in this country illegally. They knew ICE was in Chicago. They also knew ICE was out looking to capture them so that way they could be deported. Now, do you think someone who knows law enforcement is after them would try and hide, avoid confrontation? But instead, they did the exact opposite. They went after the ICE agents and attacked them with the vehicle. Now, I want you to ask yourself this. if they don't even care about their own lives and what happens if they get caught? Do you really think they care about the safety of ICE agents or any American citizen for that matter? And these are the same kind of people that the protesters in Chicago are out here defending. Individuals who show complete disregard for human life, for authority, and for the very laws that keep communities safe. And if you think it can't get any worse, listen to this. While agents are already being threatened by the cartel, Governor J.B. Pritzker is now threatening agents, claiming that if Republicans lose power in 2028, the next Democrat president could prosecute them for simply enforcing the law. That's right. The same people who claim they don't weaponize government are now openly admitting that's exactly what they plan to do. Here's Pritzker in his own words. Take a listen.
The tables will turn someday. These people should recognize that maybe they're not going to get prosecuted today, although we're looking at doing that, but they may get prosecuted after the Trump administration for the things that they did because the statute of limitations won't have run. You know, we had the immigration services, ICE and CBP doing their jobs before the Trump administration, but they were doing it within the law. Now they're acting like a bunch of thugs and taking away people's free speech rights. They're taking away people's rights, by not identifying themselves. They're coming in with masks on. They're coming in with unidentified vehicles. These are all things that need to be taken up, again, by an inspector general or somebody investigating at the federal level because they have immunity at the state level. But we're looking at how we might be able to hold them responsible despite the fact of federal immunity.
Let's be real. This isn't about justice. It's about control. They don't want law enforcement that follows the law. They want law enforcement that follows their politics. And listen, at this point, if Trump ends up invoking the Insurrection Act, then Brandon Johnson, J.B. Pritzker, they don't have anyone to blame but themselves. But let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts down below. I appreciate when you guys take the time to chime in. You enjoy any part of the content, make sure you smash the like button for more, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, stick around for the next video. Letitia James, things seem like they only keep getting worse as she was caught harboring a wanted woman in her Virginia home. And so stay tuned for that. I'll see you next time.